Hey everyone, Isaiah here, and welcome to yet another episode of Let's Draw Comics. And we're starting off here working on that hair for Genesis Blue that I really did not like drawing, but it's a necessity there. One thing that you'll start to see me do here in this video, because I know that I pull in a little closely to make this line work, and so it can be a little hard to get a good context of what I'm working on. I am going to start, or you will see it now, that I'm overlaying the end result of the panel here so that you guys can get a good idea of what it is that I'm working here, especially since these videos are being sped up at like 1,000%. So it's moving really fast and it's in super tight. This is one of the pages of the comics that I actually had quite a bit of fun drawing, mostly because I think I may have mentioned before in one of the earlier episodes that I actually really like drawing very slow moments where people get to talk to each other so that you can draw some really subtle emotion and find interesting ways to frame your shots so that you can convey everything that you're looking to convey. And here Genesis is talking to her uncle, who is now going to be her caretaker now that her grandmother is missing. And they're actually meeting for the first time here. And so I wanted to express a lot of fear from Genesis. Her life is kind of changing here a lot, or rather her first name is Blair. She takes a superhero name, Genesis Blue. But I wanted to convey a little bit of fear here and a little bit of discomfort and mistrust for her uncle, since this is her first time actually meeting him. And I also wanted to give him a more gentle expression and a caring expression. But the back of my head, I'm also thinking here too that, you know, his mother is the one that's gone missing. And so I've also been trying to convey some of his emotions that he's trying to kind of keep in check so that he can be strong there for Blair. And I felt that their interactions here in the first few pages where they meet and talk to each other were really interesting and very fun to draw. Nice little challenge there. Emotion's always a wonderful thing to try to convey. And here we have the first panel here that's in an establishing shot. And the situation has changed at the bar, so I wanted to start things off with an exterior shot with police on the scene, just to get an idea that time has passed, but also there's been a response to the situation that happened on the last page. I think that I could have done a better job of maybe framing those cars there to be more of a proper size for the perspective. I think they're a little large here in this shot compared to the size of the building. Yeah, especially that one right there. So that's definitely something that I could have been a little bit more careful about. Especially with the size of the officers here. I think that I just was trying to fit in a decent shot of the officers, some decent shots of the cars, and a decent shot of the environment. But I think in general, I probably should have just pulled out a little bit more. Those cars are way too massive. Forgot the rearview mirror there. Or rather, the side mirror. And here I'm just kind of refining the shape of this car a little bit more until I get something that I'm happy with. Um, you can always feel free when you're drawing, you can always go back and refine some things. If you feel as if that's really necessary, don't be afraid. Just be like, oh, let me erase that and work on it a little bit more. Of course, it's going to be a little different depending on what kind of media that you're working in. Digital is a little bit less destructive with working traditionally on paper. You might want to be careful about the surface that you're working on. So you want to definitely figure out as much as you can early on in the drawing before you start committing to pencil and ink in that situation. But I tend to get a little loose and a little fast when I'm working digitally, and I definitely should have refined the shape of that car a lot more. There's still things I'm looking at here that I feel that I could have worked on a little longer. The curve of the front window there could definitely use some refinement. These buildings here, again, are very fun to draw. I think I mentioned last episode that I definitely would have liked to have drawn some Louisiana buildings more frequently, especially when you think of like New Orleans, an area that you would hang out for like Mardi Gras or something like that. The kind of buildings that you see there have some really interesting architecture and design. And I think this is the last page where buildings like that show up in this project, and I would love the opportunity to draw those a little bit more, to figure out how I would really like to convey a lot of those shapes. And I think I definitely should have pulled out more so that we could have seen more of the background here, also as an excuse to draw more of this. But as I mentioned before, so I could get those cars there in the proper size, as well as the people, I feel as if those two things are definitely a little bit too large. Sort of feel like the next time I draw an area like this, I need to go visit it. I haven't gone to Louisiana in quite a while. I did a few conventions in Louisiana, and that was the last time I've been in that area. But I think definitely if I'm working on a project that is a specific setting, I might want to go visit that place and take some pictures. I looked up a lot of reference pictures, but it's going to be really hard to find the angles that you're looking for to really get a good feel of things unless you're there. And if I ever get an opportunity to draw a city like New York, I definitely want to go there first. Definitely going to be total tourist and take pictures of everything so that I can have it on my phone. So if I'm going to draw the area, it's going to be, here are all these shots and getting a good idea of what the buildings look like, because I looked at a ton of photos that I could find on the internet of New Orleans, and I still didn't feel as if I was getting a good the kind of feel of the area that I really wanted. And it's definitely going to be fun to just visit someday. And I think from now on, anytime I go to visit definitely iconic cities, take pictures of the environment and some of the famous sectors, just so that I can have that reference on me at all times. Now I like whenever I go on hikes and stuff like that, I take pictures, a lot of pictures, so that anytime I'm drawing areas like that, I have my own kind of reference. I try to make a few of those braids there kind of go wild to give some sort of motion, but I think that ended up looking very sloppy. I like the shape of those police hats. I don't think I've ever seen a police officer wear one of those hats before, but I think it's a really fun and interesting shape. So I had to give the officer that was going to be on a handful of the panels here that shape. And fun fact about Transaltown: Alicia's older brother Lenny, he's a police officer, and I designed his hair to have that same kind of shape. Just again, because I like the shape of that kind of hat. All right, that's going to be all the time for today. Thanks a lot for watching the video, and let me know how you feel about things in the comment sections, and I hope you have a great whatever time of the day this is for you. See you next time.